Hi guys, this is Malph, and I'm here on my character Gimpton, a marksmanship hunter with his trusty pet catnip. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about leatherworking, and there's going to tie skinning into that because leatherworking and skinning go together like peanut butter and jelly. You can't have one without the other. I've been this hunter is vanilla, vintage. He started out as a dwarf, hence the snow leopard, and leveled all the way up. And I just changed over to horde. Some people would say I saw the light when this new expansion came around. So we're going to talk a little bit about leatherworking and see where it's been and where it's going. Truth be told, guys, leatherworking has always been kind of the redheaded stepchild of crafting. It really hasn't had anything wow about it, okay? Actually, you get more out of the skinning than you do out of the leatherworking. So let's take a quick look at skinning. I'm here to tell you, in my personal opinion, my personal experience with the skinning, you will level up skinning to max level before you leave the first zone. It's that easy. In Zandalar, you've got critters all over this zone, especially up in here. All right, and you're going to be and beast crawl right down here. You're going to be skinning non-stop all the way through this zone. So if you're not at 150 by the time you leave this zone, you probably are darn near close and will get there very quickly afterwards because you've got a bunch of crocodiles up in here. So, I mean, there's lots of stuff to skin. But where's the stuff come from? Well, let's go back to the skinning. I'm like a moron. I got rid of it. I'm going to pull that down there so we can pull it up easily. All right. And we'll take a look at this. You've got different mats to gather. Zandalari skinning, leather gathering, and scale gathering, and bone gathering. So you get bones, leather, and skin, scales. Scales come off of reptiles. Anything reptilian is going to give you mist scales and shimmering scales. All right, and that's used to make male armor. Anything mammalian, like a tiger or a hippopotamus, that's going to give you coarse leather, and that's used to make, leather armor. All right, so let's take a look at what you can do. First of all, let's see where we've been. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up, and we're going to scroll all the way down to vanilla. And this right here, raise your hand if you remember this from back in the day over in South Shore and Terran Mill. The Helmsman cloak. Leatherworkers made cloaks. And, Hillsman cloak. Back in the day. Kind of brings back memories. The wild leather stuff comes out of Feralis. That was very important back in the day for PvP. Especially for twinks. Wild leather gear, wild leather boots, wild leather stuff. That was very important. And there was also a rep back in the day that you could get. There were quite a few reps that you could get to make special leatherworking patterns. But I want you to note that all of this is armor. And it was armor that you could use, right? It was niche, that's true. But it was armor that you could use, all right? So, and these are ones they've kind of added over time. But the original ones, like the wild leather stuff, all that stuff you used back in vanilla. Good stuff. All right. So you can't complain about that. But it was what it was. So, I mean, the wild leather stuff, and you had a choice. You got a vest or a chest plate. So, like I said, they give you lots of choices. You can make almost anything. You could make these kits to put in your pants that would increase your, armor value and whatnot. So all this stuff was back in vanilla. All right. So then we move up and we go through Crusade and we go through Frozen Throne and whatnot. Now all the way up through Lich King and Cataclysm and whatnot. And as it goes up, it kind of watered it down a little bit. So we start making. You could actually make some epic gear, but legendary gear. But let's look at where it's at right now, because that's all that really matters right now is where it's at. And it's where it's always been. Over the years, they've tried to throw a bone to leatherworkers by giving them bardings to help prevent you getting dismounted. They offered toys. They offered pet beds. They offered different mounts that were leatherworkers only. And that's all fine and good. But, what can you sell in the auction house? That's your question, right? So let's take a look. I've actually made these for some of my followers. I ain't seen one come back yet. Send them out there, and I ain't seen no leather come back yet. Not that I need it, because you get 10 tons of materials. Materials are not an issue. And notice what's missing here? Yeah, hydrocore. No hydrocore. Yay! And then we get to this one, there's no hydrocore, and this just increases their mission chance by 10%. You actually don't need that. You just line up your followers the correct way, and they'll complete the mission. The drums and stuff to increase haste, I think it is. Yeah. But it doesn't stack with Bloodlust or anything like that. So you're either using that or Bloodlust. So it kind of makes it pointless. If it was off of the Bloodlust cooldown, and let's say somebody popped Bloodlust and then you could put the drums down, it might be useful that way, but otherwise, what's the point, right? Coarse leather barding. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. It says it prevents you from being dismounted and on a leather worker, it's 8 hours while you ride through Draenor, or not Draenor, Kiltaros or Zoldalar. That's a lie. You can get dismounted. Trust me. When you have a barding on, you can get dismounted. It can happen to you. Trust me. It is not 100%. And I will tell you a little story associated with that. Backing out from the map. We're going to go to Nazmir. I was goofing around over here on my hunter. I had the barding on, and I picked up a Krog. That sucker followed me. I kid you not. That sucker followed me all the way down to this intersection. And finally, it dismounted me. And I had the freaking bard. Now, I ended up killing it rather easily, but as you're going through these zones, you kind of get used to just outrunning a mob. You don't want to be bothered with it. But that sucker would not unleash. It just kept on. I'm serious. It followed me all the way across the map. I was like, oh my God. But the barding doesn't always work. And especially if you're in like Kiltaros, on a horde character. Let's say you're going through Tyrskard. Alright, and you get a little too close to some of these alliance bases. Like this estate right here. They'll dismount you. You'll get dismounted. Especially if you come across an alliance guard. And I'm quite sure the alliance found this to be true on the horde side. And these pirates down here, they'll dismount you in a minute. So don't believe that the barding is 100%. It's useful, but it's not 100%. If you're just blowing through an area and you hear bap bap and they hit you a couple times, that's one thing. But as far as preventing you from getting dismounted forever, that's not going to work. You know what's going to work, Blizzard? Letting us fly. All right? And that's just ridiculous. It's gone on too long. All right, the diving helmet's useful. Okay, you can breathe underwater. But there are lots of items and spells in the game that let you breathe underwater. So, yeah, not a big seller. There are turning quests for it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know why you would do that. A diving suit help you swim faster. Again, there's lots of items and potions and whatnot that'll help you do that. Hardened Tempest, that's just a material you make so you can craft some gear. Gear that you will never ever use. And neither will anyone else. I don't care if it's your alt or not. It's just not usable. You can make some weapons that do not sell and nobody uses, except to probably put it on one time for transmog, and that's about it. And level up your leatherworking. I had leatherworking leveled up all the way to max right off the bat before I even left Zandalar. You just get so much material, and it's so easy to level it. To me, that's the big selling point for leatherworking. It's easy to sell, level, but really can't do anything with it. This is all male gear. The shimmer scale stuff is all male. Generally, what I'll do is I'll wait until I get about 40 of these. Then I'll make 20 of them and ship them to Malph to be disenchanted. The honorable combatant stuff is pure crap. Level 300. Whoop. Go into a war front one time. I mean, one time, 20 minutes. You got a 340 piece of gear. Do the quest. You got a 370. Okay. Misscale boots. These are 355 epics. Great. You still need to run 15 or more mythics to get the Hydra core you need, and then hope you've got enough expulsum to do it. But let me show you something. Went into a war front. Spent 20 minutes. Yeah. What can I tell you? I mean, it's ridiculous. Leggings again, 355. Where's leggings at? Warfront, 345. Not as good, but it's not that much different. You know, what are the stats on this? Random. You don't know. And again, these leatherworking patterns up here. These are leather. Coarse leather leggings, treads, waist guard. Again, this honorable combatants crap. Leggings, boots, and they've got that stupid hydrocore thing on there, which I'm never going to do. There's no need for it. But again, this might be a little harder to come by on the horde side because you don't run across as many mammals. You run across a lot more dinosaurs and stuff like that. But I know, in having done quests out in Drusvar and Kulturas and whatnot, there's a lot more mammal critters out there. So the Alliance are probably inundated with leather, and the Horde are inundated with mail. So you gather a lot of mats, and you do that, but nothing you can really use. And to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of suggestions as to what you could add to this. The gear is irrelevant. War fronts, combined with mythic dungeons, combined with raid, have really made the gear irrelevant anymore. Back in vanilla, you could farm materials using your skinning skills, like core leather and black dragon scales, to help other classes with their class quests. In this case, there's nothing there, guys. The skinning trainer's here. She's got only one quest to go into a dungeon and get a piece of Razan's bone out of, what is that dungeon called? I'm sorry. Atalazar. You go in there and get one little shard of bone for her, and it gives you another star. Leatherworking guy, he doesn't have any quest really for you to go into a dungeon and do anything. So as far as leveling it up goes, definitely worth it. It's easy to do. It's not hard. But you'll make a lot more money off of the materials than you will off the leatherworking itself. Really a shame. So anyway, but leatherworking's always been that way. I'm sorry, I can't really complain because leatherworking has never been, except for a few isolated incidents and stuff, leatherworking has never been a major, big-time moneymaker as far as that goes. Skinning has, but not leatherworking. They tried to add different things and stuff and toys and stuff to it over the time, and I don't think it's really worked. As far as that goes. And then when you do have epic gear that you could potentially make, they've either made it bind on pickup, which makes it sole bound, or they've made it bind, to the point where it's irrelevant. You can get better gear easily somewhere else. So, using as is player housing, what could you possibly do as a leather worker? Well, let's look at a couple of avenues of approach. Where most of us were guys, and even if you're not, if you're a lady, who wouldn't want a lazy boy recliner in their house to sit in? Who wouldn't want a leather couch? So there's that. And also, you'll pardon me, taxidermy. Let's say you're down in Swamp of Sorrows and you're fishing around trying to level your fishing up, and you come across a 40-pound catfish. Great transmog. What if you could mount that on a plaque and put it on the wall of your house? Would that be neat? Just little things like that, okay? Doesn't have to be anything really fancy. So you could do that with leather. Use your imagination if you're more creative than I am. But, again, leatherworking, it's okay. It's always been okay. But it's always been kind of like the redheaded stepchild. And, because of power creep and other things, the gear has become just irrelevant. It's just for leveling up, that's all. Don't even waste your time with dishonorable combat and stuff, because rarely will you sell it in these things. Again, their advic's great, but only you can use it. Look, it's bind on pickup. So you make it, go into a warfront, get 385. By the time you get there, you've done 15 dungeons, right? So you probably got better than that on. So what's the point? It makes no point. The only good thing I can say about that is they took that off of the follower equipment. But again, I ain't seen no leather come out of it. So, not that I need it, because, yeah. Yeah. You get a whole lot of bunch. And you see all this tanning oil? That didn't come from me making tanning oil or buying it from a vendor. That came off the scrapper. Because if you have multiple characters that wear mail or leather, all you're getting is calcified bone, bloody bone, and amber tanning oil by the bucketful off of that, and it adds up. So that's it for leatherworking, guys. I wish I could blame Blizzard for something here, but I really can't. Leatherworking's always been this way. And until next time, hey, I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Be good to each other, and have a great day. Bye.